let's turn to Jim Knowles and his defense. It was working so well in the first half, excluding 2 plays, of course. And all it takes is 1 play on a drive to bust, and there it goes. And Tony, what keeps coming back to me is how many times you let us all know that, not that Kevin and Steve did not, that this defense was designed a certain way, and Jim Knowles would explain it as we're going to give up a few plays. Mm-hmm. But when they come from 75 and 85 yards, that's when it seems as though, well, the dam broke, and that's not a good strategy.
Yeah, and as Knowles said after the game, when you plan for these, you bake them in, as he says, you bake them into your system. You don't bake in touchdowns. That's the problem, because if you give up a 40-yarder and then that takes you to the Ohio State 30, you still have an opportunity to create a negative play on the next play. When you give up a big play and it's a touchdown, you're done. You have no opportunity to make up for that or create a negative play. So that's where the system kind of has a flaw, and it's that those go for touchdowns. And like I said, 5 of those touchdowns accounted for 349 yards. And there's nothing you can do to try to now get a negative play on first down and make it 2nd and 12 or something like that, because the drive is over. And so I think they were just if there's so many different ways to look at this, because the aggression was working if the players execute. And they executed all but like 2 plays in the first half. They executed all but maybe 5 or 6, 8 plays in the second half. And so Jim Knowles says that's his fault, because if the players don't make the plays in the game, then that's his fault for not getting them ready to do so. And then it's like, well, then maybe you should have dialed it back some. And with Blake Corum out, do you need to sell out as desperately to stop the run, or can you keep one defender back to help out? Like, do you need to go cover 0? Can you just leave somebody deep? Something like that. And yeah, this for the second year in a row, it feels like defensive coaching malpractice, and for completely different reasons. One, last year they didn't know what they were doing. This year they knew what they were doing, and they shouldn't have been.
It sure would have helped if Ohio State could have gotten home, but they were facing the best offensive line that they faced all year. Michigan's offensive line is really good, and J.J. McCarthy is very good at getting away from pressure. So you couple all that stuff in with what Tony is saying, way too much cover 0. I mean, I think that they were way too emboldened in some of their coverages of what they were out there doing. I think that if we would have seen something maybe a little bit more conservative and try and keep things in front of you, that's not to say that Michigan wouldn't have been able to prolong some drives and have some success, but you wouldn't have seen some of these big hits. And honestly, when I'm looking at the game, the 85-yard Donovan Edwards play, both of the big Edwards runs, I mean, Ohio State was selling out trying to get that big play, and that's just kind of what happens when you sell out there. But it's it's the Cam Martinez being kind of nowhere close to where he needed to be. It's some of those other plays that are the ones when the game was a lot more in question and contested that I'm unsure of, how much of it is, putting players in the wrong positions and how much is it players putting themselves in wrong positions. It's been a tough rewatch. I've tried. I basically am doing about a quarter a day, because I just have a lot of questions, a lot of concerns. I'm looking forward to seeing the Ross Fulton breakdown over on Buckeye Huddle. Once he gets that over to me and we can get that posted, of what he sees is somebody with more of that X's and O's eyes than me, who generally just has my eye drawn to where the ball is. But a lot, I don't know.